Hey guys, it's Jordan here from SwitchWatch, back again with another review, this time of Dragon Blaze on the Nintendo Switch. Thanks to ZeroDiv, as always, for providing this review copy, so I can tell you guys if it's worth your hard-earned cash or not. Let's get on with it. Dragon Blaze presents one of Psycho's later games in their short, unforgotten lifespan. It was one of the last games before the company dropped off the radar a year or two later. In that regard, this game could have showed one of two things. Either it's a bit of a last hurrah from the studio, not being able to keep up with the changing times, or it could be a bit of a damp squid that sealed the company's fate. Of course, if you know Psycho, you know that the answer is the former. It's awesome. The story is back to a simpler time. The 4 Dragon Riders are on a mission to collect 4 crystals and then defeat a big bad boss. It's not really worth mentioning. Like usual, there's a bit of text between stages as characters say a sentence of almost coherent English as they make their way to the big bad. When comparing it to other Psycho games, it's not the worst offender of story vapidity, but it's on the low end. The endings also lack the charm of other titles like Gunbird and the recently released Tengai, which is a shame. The audio is fantastic with some medieval fantasy grand score to augment the tense situation of dodging bullets. It's not quite as in your face or rocking as I like with my shooters, as in the case of Steriden, but it adds very nicely to the package. I'm not sure if I'd listen to it much outside of the game though, but it's still a really good soundtrack. Visually, Dragon Blaze is easily one of Psycho's best. The sprite work is sublime. You, your dragon, and the enemies are hugely detailed. So many things look incredibly smooth as though they're pre-rendered, but I'm not sure if they are or not. Either way, it's a feast for the eyes. Background details, especially in the underwater stage, can be magical. I love the way your dragon slightly falters against the turbulence of the air. There's just a lot of detail and it's great. Of course, as a vertical shooter, you can play this magnificent game by turning the Switch on its side to view it all in its magnificent glory. Sadly, I didn't have the chance to turn my TV on its side this time, but my word, I would love to. Truly the best way to play. The only disappointment in this, and I suppose I'll touch upon this in the gameplay section too, is that there just isn't enough variety of stages. Maybe I was spoiled by the dynamic stages in other games, but Dragon Blaze feels a little too resolute, and this impacts the visual since you'll always be seeing the same thing over and over again. The gameplay is pure Psycho. While it has your standard shooter mechanics found in all of the other games like Strikers and Samurai Aces, this one throws in one very interesting feature that can really change the dynamic of the gameplay. Of the 4 characters, yes, only 4, each of them are Dragon Riders. They begin each stage mounted on their trusty steed, but a nice little trick that they can do is, if you press the X button, you will dismount and launch the dragon forth. This brings in a few tactical nuances to this game. The first is that your dragon can act like a battering ram, piercing enemies and dealing satisfying amount of damage. Secondly, your launch dragon can pick up items such as extra bombs, power-ups and coins, and so on, which is very useful for those out of reach in dangerous areas. Finally, when launched, the dragon will fire continuously locked in the same position. You can strategically place them in a spot to take out enemies, while your character takes out enemies coming from a different area. It's like splitting your firepower, fighting your battle on 2 fronts. Now, having only played a few hours so far, I'm not going to be able to tell you the tactical subtleties of how it's best to use this component of gameplay, but I'm still experimenting with it myself. I do feel it has a lot to offer though, and will probably make it one of the deeper Psycho experiences around. The rest of the game features are very similar to what we've seen before. If you've seen my other reviews of these classic games, you'll know what's coming. You have the standard shot that you can either shoot manually or with auto fire, then you have a panic bomb to protect yourself against the enemies and bullets flying at you, and finally you have the charge shot, which this time is linked to a magic meter, meaning that you can't use it at all times. A shame considering I love the snappiness of the charge attack in Tengai. The flow of action is great. You feel like a total badass when your dragon is full power and you're weaving seamlessly between enemy firepower. It really is one of the best feeling Psycho games too. But there is one thing to note. Something hardcore fans will love, but newcomers may find it a bit of a wall for this entry. Dragon Blaze may be one of the most brutal Psycho shooters. Sure, I generally don't delve into the higher difficulties too much, but this particular game looks genuinely impossible unless you're willing to commit the time to memorizing every frame that goes on. I mean, if you're taking a volley of shots from every single enemy in this game, all flying in different directions, and seemingly no place to hide, you know this is a tough one, even by Psycho standards, and general arcade standards too. On the lowest difficulty, I was at first thinking this game was a complete breeze compared to what I'd experienced on all of Psycho's other efforts, but by the time I'd reached the last 2 to 3 stages, Dragon Blaze made me want to cry. Sure, the bullet hell features weren't too bad in those lower difficulties, but some cheap enemies that can instantly wipe you out dampened my enthusiasm somewhat. Still, it's great fun, and Psycho addicts will love the gameplay that Dragon Blaze provides. You can't go wrong with this one at all. I would suggest if you're looking for a more manageable time, you may want to try Gunbird instead, but if you're up for a challenge, Dragon Blaze is just as fantastic in gameplay department as it and Tengai. For £6.99 or $7.99, Dragon Blaze is of course worth your hard-earned cash if you're a shooter fanatic. I feel the lack of variety or personality in this one will hurt it for some of the more casual fans, but you'll still want to play it plenty of times. Completing it with 2 players gives you even more endings that you may want to try out, but due to the low character count, it is fewer than some other games. If you want a serious challenge, and I mean serious, then maybe Dragon Blaze will be the one that you can sit out to master and put in dozens and dozens of hours. That's gotta be worth your cash, right? Overall, Dragon Blaze is yet another classic shooter in the Switch's library. Having just come from playing Tengai, I thought it would be a while before something else of equal quality would come along. For me, Dragon Blaze ranks alongside Gunbird, Tengai, and Zero Gunner 2 as must-have titles for shmup fans. Of course, this game comes with the caveat of being probably one of the most difficult and seemingly impossible of the bunch. It also lacks a bit of variety compared to others too, but shmup diehards will love this every bit as much as the other games. Yet another 9 out of 10. Okay guys, thank you ever so much for watching. If you like this review of Dragon Blaze, then give us a thumbs up, we'd greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment below as always, what do you think of Dragon Blaze? If you're a hardcore shmup fan, where does this one rank on the difficulty for you? I would love to know your thoughts. If you're new, then we would love you to subscribe too. We're aiming to be the best Switch reviewers on YouTube, and we're almost at 10,000 lovely subscribers. Once we hit that, we'll be doing a massive giveaway for all of you to join in, so spread the word. I've been Jordan from Switch Watch, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.